Welcome to today's Cold War Patriots National Day of Remembrance ceremony. Before we get started, I'd like to tell you a few things about how to watch our virtual ceremony. Because it is a video, you can start and stop it at your leisure by clicking the pause and play buttons on the bottom left of the video screen. And to adjust the volume, click here. To make the video full screen, click here. We have also divided the ceremony into chapters, so if you don't want to watch the entire program, you can simply go to the sections you would like to view. To find the chapters, click on the progress bar here, and you will see the different sections. Hover over each with your mouse to see the name of each chapter and click on the ones you would like to watch. Or simply start at the beginning and watch the ceremony in its entirety. Now let's get started with our program.
Greetings, my name is Tim LaRue. On behalf of Cold War Patriots, welcome to our special 12th official Cold War Patriots National Day of Remembrance. Unique to this year's National Day of Remembrance, today's event is a virtual one, with the ceremonies and speakers brought together online, so that you, your family, co-workers, and friends can all participate without having to drive to different locations across the country, avoiding the risks we are all familiar with related to large gatherings. Today's virtual event has the potential to reach thousands more nuclear complex and uranium workers and their families than any of our events before. If this is your first time with us at an official Cold War Patriots National Day of Remembrance, or the most recent of many, we welcome you to a very special remembrance program and ceremony. Every year since 2009, Cold War Patriots has asked the United States Senate to introduce and pass an official resolution honoring the men and women, like many of you, who have served our nation in building and maintaining our nuclear defense. Over the years, Cold War Patriots and our founding organization, Professional Case Management, have had the honor to fight for your worker rights and travel to Washington, D.C. to advocate on your behalf. In 2009, we held the first official National Day of Remembrance, and we are honored to be here with you at the 12th annual observance. Since the beginning of the Manhattan Project during World War II until the present day, more than 1 million civilian Americans have worked to create and maintain our nuclear defense. Yet the efforts to create the world's most powerful arsenal required the use of materials, methods, and components that were also highly toxic, radioactive, and hazardous to human health. The result over the years has too often been a human tragedy of increased rates of cancer, pulmonary illnesses, and a vast array of toxic causation-related diseases that science and medicine are still learning to fully understand, diagnose, and treat. Workers like you in the nuclear complex and uranium industry literally sacrificed your health, even your lives, to provide for the common defense and safety of all Americans. Today marks the 20th anniversary of this very date when the Energy Employees Occupational Illness Compensation Program Act was signed into law. The reality of the hazardous work that you performed, largely in secret, over the years became steadily more apparent to our country and those who led it. Just as the nuclear arsenal you researched, created, machined, and maintained grew in complexity and scale, so too did the complexity and number of illnesses and fatalities also grow from your national security work. Eventually, your sacrifices became known, and your voices were heard, culminating 20 years ago today in the signing into law of the Energy Employees Occupational Illness Compensation Program Act. The compensation and comprehensive medical benefits provided under this law are America's response to acknowledge and address the illnesses caused and contributed to by your work, as our nation thanks you for the vital service and acknowledges its responsibilities for work-related illnesses. I think back to the day Janine Anderson, one of the founding members of Cold War Patriots and herself a former K-25 worker in Oak Ridge, Tennessee, appeared in her wheelchair at a local union hall, gathering signatures to request the first National Day of Remembrance.
The late Janine Anderson, a former nuclear worker from Anderson County, got her wish today. Back in April, she started a campaign for a National Day of Remembrance for nuclear weapons workers. Here's how she hoped it would work.
It'll be a day that is on the calendar where people around our nation will fly the flag, the American flag. They will hold celebratory events in honor of the deceased and sickened nuclear workers from these complexes.
Senator Alexander sending staff and word that he and other senators would take up the petition and make this dream a reality. And so they did, and so they have each and every year since.
Hi, my name is Richard Anderson, and I would like to take just a moment to introduce to you the late Janine Anderson. The most important and notable part of Janine not only was that she was a former sick nuclear worker herself, but that she was a very dedicated advocate for sick nuclear workers from all across America. She, along with numerous other dedicated people, spent many long hours at home and in meetings, and even in Washington, D.C., working on a compensation program. She and others was in attendance at the inaugural signing when President Clinton signed it into law on October the 30th of 2000. Janine and others continued working for improvements to the law. She spent many long hours using her knowledge and her understanding of the law to help other sick nuclear workers receive their due compensations. She and other advocates traveled to Washington, D.C. many more times to meet with congressmen and senators regarding the compensation program improvements. But Janine had another vision that she had a very strong desire for. She wanted to see a day set aside for national recognition of Cold War veterans of the nuclear industry. It would be called National Day of Remembrance and would be observed on October the 30th of each year, the date the EEOI-CPA was signed into law. Since Janine was one of the original members of the Cold War Patriots National Advisory Committee, she presented her idea and vision to the professional case management team. They were very enthused about her proposal and did champion her cause. A national kickoff campaign day was held in Oak Ridge, Tennessee on April the 28th of 2009, where banners of those pledging to support the cause were signed. Senator Lamar Alexander pledged his support. Other campaigns were also held across the nation. Janine passed away in her sleep only 4 days later on May the 2nd, 2009. Although the NDR is still an annual proclamation, it is getting closer to becoming declared as a national holiday. Janine had a deep passion for every sick nuclear worker across America, and she's probably even smiling today because people are benefiting from the program to make their lives just a little bit better, and that you, the Cold War veterans of the nuclear industry, have a day to call your own. Thank you.
We remember and honor you, the workers, as well as all of the family and friends who also fulfilled America's national defense mission. You will hear from others today, including representatives from the House, Senate, government agencies, the worker community, and those that serve them, to honor, remember, and pay tribute to those who worked on the nuclear weapons and uranium complex. The 14 everyday patriots that will be featured in our 2021 Cold War Patriots calendar will also make an appearance. We will be sharing the names of those patriotic workers who have recently passed and any names that you have submitted for this, the Cold War Patriots 12th official National Day of Remembrance. At Cold War Patriots and our founding organization, Professional Case Management, It continues to be our honor to support the worker community and their families in any way possible. Back in 2008, Professional Case Management recognized the need to unite this group of patriotic Americans and sponsored the formation of Cold War Patriots, so your legacy and benefits could be protected under the EOICPA and RECA programs. It is our mission at Cold War Patriots and Professional Case Management to advocate for you. Please do call upon us. Our Outreach Help Center is available year-round. Thank you, and God bless you, your loved ones, and the United States of America. Heavenly Father, today we reach out to you to ask your favor to honor and bless the men and women of our nation who work to provide for our national defense. Their work was often hard and dangerous, and many sacrificed their health in silence to help our nation. We ask your comfort and strength for the families of those who have passed, as well as your continued presence and favor in the lives of those who remain. May you continue to bless each of these assembled today and continue to bless the United States of America. I'm now honored to introduce Larry, one of our everyday patriots from Tennessee, who will be leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We are very fortunate to have some distinguished speakers who have also joined us to honor the workers of America's nuclear complex. True and effective leadership is often principled, yet modest. One of the exceptional leaders in our government, who served as a United States Air Force officer, then 25 years in senior positions at the U.S. Department of Energy, and is now serving as an executive director at the Department of Homeland Security, Glenn Podonsky, put together a very special introductory video to the National Day of Remembrance that embraces all Cold War patriots.
Hello, my name is Glenn Podonsky, and I've had the privilege of working with the Cold War Patriots for the past 11 years. This October 30th is the 12th anniversary of the National Day of Remembrance. This day honors the men and women who worked at the nuclear weapons complex from the Manhattan Project. We know the term Cold War usually is used to reference the period of time hostility between the United States and former Soviet Union that occurred after World War II and lasted until 1991. It was called the Cold War because the two countries never actually reached armed conflict, unlike most wars previous and continuing through today. But what exactly is a patriot? Webster states, a patriot is a person who loves, supports, and defends his or her country and its interests with dedication and devotion. And in the case of you, the Cold War patriots, you made sacrifices rarely seen today. I met Janine Anderson in 2009. She shared with me that the workers who built the American weapons arsenal needed to receive public recognition for their commitment in protecting the United States. These individuals were exposed to some of the deadliest substances known to mankind, often without even knowing they were exposed. For 11 years, the United States Senate has passed a resolution to designate October 30th as the day to remember the work performed by you, brave men and women in our nuclear weapons complex. Your important work kept America safe, not only during World War II, but through the Cold War and into present day. You, as Cold War workers, are the unsung heroes and real patriots of the Cold War. You worked tirelessly with extraordinarily hazardous materials, as I said, that we knew very little about. The National Day of Remembrance is the nation's way to honor your valuable contributions to our country, an attempt to have us never forget what you did. I thank you for your sacrifices and thank you for your dedicated service to our nation to protect our freedoms.
It is now my pleasure to introduce Kim Holt with a special message from the United States Department of Labor, Office of the Ombudsman for the Energy Employees Occupational Illness Compensation Program Act. Since the creation of the Ombudsman's office, Kim and her team have assisted literally thousands of nuclear complex workers and their families in navigating the complexities of the EOICPA program. At Cold War Patriots, we've learned and applied much from the example of their expert, diligent, and professional work. Kim?
It is an honor to participate in the Cold War Patriots' 12th National Day of Remembrance. Today we recognize thousands of men and women across the nuclear weapons complex, including the miners, the millers, and the transporters, for defending our nation during the Cold War. We owe a debt of gratitude to you for your tireless efforts in building and maintaining our nuclear defense. We also would like to say thank you to the families of these heroes who have also made sacrifices. And let's take a moment to honor our Cold War patriots who are no longer with us. On behalf of the Office of the Ombudsman, we would like to say thank you very, very much for your patriotism, your dedication, and your service. Thank you.
We are very fortunate to have Denise Brock join us today. Many of you know of the extraordinary work Denise does as the Ombudsman for the National Institute of Occupational Safety and Health related to EOICPA. Perhaps fewer of you realize that it was Denise's multi-year fight for benefits for her father and the hundreds of others who worked at Mallinckrodt and Weldon Springs in and near St. Louis, Missouri, that led her to this vital role. Denise?
I am Denise Brock and the Ombudsman to the National Institute for Occupational Safety and Health within the Division of Compensation, Analysis, and Support. I am also the proud daughter of former nuclear weapons workers. Starting in the early 1940s during the Manhattan Project, throughout the Cold War, and to present day, millions of Americans have served this country by building, producing, and maintaining our nuclear arsenal. Much of this work was done in secret and under top security, and many of those very same Americans have paid the ultimate price with their health and sometimes their life. Oftentimes, workers were exposed to huge amounts of radiation and some of the most hazardous materials known to mankind. This was often done without their knowledge, without their consent, and without proper protective gear. I feel so very blessed and fortunate that I'm able to work within a program, a piece of legislation that was enacted in 2000 called the Energy Employees Occupational Illness Compensation Program Act. This program, this piece of legislation, has given me a wonderful opportunity to be able to meet and work with or assist this unique set of workers and often their families. Today, I would like to join many others in thanking, honoring, and recognizing all of the men and women who serve this country in keeping us safe and free. I thank you so very much, and may God bless you.
While some benefits may exist for those who have become stricken with many forms of work-related cancer, our founding organization, Professional Case Management, and the American Cancer Society are here to do more for those who battle cancer, their families, and their survivors with a wide variety of services. This will mark the third year that Professional Case Management has raised significant financial support from its employees to partner with ACS in their vital work. Please welcome Ms. Kelly Moran, Executive Director with the American Cancer Society.
Hi, I'm Kelly Moran, Executive Director of the Rocky Mountain area of the American Cancer Society, and on behalf of our organization, I want to thank all of the Cold War Patriots for their service and sacrifice. At the American Cancer Society, we're on a mission to free the world from cancer. Until we do, we'll be funding and conducting research, sharing expert information, supporting patients, and spreading the word about prevention, all so people can live longer and better. We partner with Professional Case Management and Cold War Patriots to help connect those who need the resources with the resources the American Cancer Society has to offer. While most people know us for our research, we do so much more. We attack cancer from every angle. We promote healthy lifestyles to help prevent cancer. We research cancer and its causes to find more answers and better treatments. We fight for life-saving policy changes. We provide everything from emotional support to the latest cancer information for those who have been touched by cancer. Cancer information, answers, and hope are available every minute of every day through our website, www.cancer.org, and our phone number, 1-800-227-2345. If you, your friends, or family members have been impacted by cancer, the American Cancer Society is here for you, only a phone call or click away. Thank you so much for your service and sacrifice to our country once again.
This year, as we share the special video messages from Senator Alexander from Tennessee and Senator Udall from New Mexico, Cold War Patriots wants to acknowledge and honor both of these senators who each year for the past dozen years have come together, not simply as Republicans and Democrats, but as your bipartisan elected leaders to champion, co-sponsor, and successfully pass the United States Senate resolution making October 30th an official National Day of Remembrance, honoring each and every member of the nuclear weapons community and every uranium worker. As both Senator Udall and Alexander retire from the Senate, on behalf of Cold War Patriots, we deeply thank them for the principled leadership and actions on behalf of the nuclear and uranium worker community we are honored to represent. We will be presenting them a special signed edition of Richard Rhodes' Pulitzer Prize-winning book, The Making of the Atomic Bomb, signed by members of Cold War Patriots, along with this special bookmark for the 12th Annual National Day of Remembrance. We are now excited to hear from many of the states where our Cold War Patriots live and worked. Keep an eye out for people and places you will recognize. Tennessee was one of the original 3 pillars of the Manhattan Project and continues to this day to be a cornerstone of America's nuclear defense, energy research, and medical and technology innovation. Yet that national leadership has also resulted in the greatest impact on worker health of any state. May we always remember the sacrifices for freedom made by our Tennessee volunteers. The sons and daughters of Tennessee you will now hear from have special perspectives on the contributions of those from their state and the nation. Please welcome Senator Lamar Alexander, whose foresight and leadership made the very first National Day of Remembrance possible.
Hello, I'm United States Senator Lamar Alexander. At the peak of the Cold War, nearly 600,000 workers across the country worked in the research and production of nuclear weapons. Between 1942 and 45, as many as 75,000 individuals in Oak Ridge worked on the Manhattan Project, and today, the Y-12 National Security Complex employs more than 4,000 Tennesseans. Our country's safer because of those men and women and all of you. I'm proud to represent a community of such vital importance to our nation's defense. Over the past 18 years, I've worked hard to ensure that you and other former nuclear weapons workers that paid a high price for our safety could receive benefits through the Energy Employees Occupational Illness Compensation Program Act. And I've co-sponsored all 12 resolutions the United States Senate has passed, designating October 30th as a National Day of Remembrance to honor you, as well as the thousands who made the ultimate sacrifice to keep us safe. Thank you for all that you have done for our country.
Please welcome Senator Marsha Blackburn, adding her voice and vote in the United States Senate to make this National Day of Remembrance possible.
Hi everyone, I'm U.S. Senator Marsha Blackburn, and it's a disappointment that we can't be together today for this celebration, but I am honored to join you and to virtually recognize the men and women who have provided our nation's security and have worked so hard in our nuclear weapons programs. This year, I co-sponsored a bipartisan resolution that would declare October 30th as the National Day of Remembrance for nuclear weapons workers. This day is really meant to honor those who have kept us safe through their work in the nuclear weapons projects, the Manhattan Project, and the Girls of Atomic City. We are grateful for that work, and also as a Tennessean, I have to tell you, I'm very grateful for all of the work that has been done at the Oak Ridge National Labs and the Y-12 Security Complex. Thank you for your diligence, your focus, and the great work that you have done on behalf of our nation.
Please welcome Congressman Fleischman to say a few special words.
It's my honor today to say thank you to the Cold War Patriots. So many of you have worked hard over the years to defend our nuclear arsenal and have worked continuously and gone through many of the hazards that workers have faced over the years. As your congressman, I want to make sure that you continue to get all the benefits that you deserve, but mainly say thank you for a nation for all of the hard work that you have done. Also, I'd like to say thank you to our nation's current nuclear defense establishment workers. We want to make sure that you continue to have safe and secure conditions to work so that you can keep American nuclear arsenal safest and strongest in the world. Thank you.
Please welcome Congressman Burchard to add his voice to today's ceremony.
Today we honor the 12th official Cold War Patriots National Day of Remembrance. Since the beginning of the Manhattan Project in World War II until present day, more than 1 million civilians, including many East Tennesseans, have worked and sacrificed to help protect our nation by maintaining our nuclear defense. But on a personal note, my father was one of those Marines in the Second World War who was on the island of Okinawa, and they were preparing to invade Japan when they dropped the bomb and told them that the war, dropped both bombs actually, and told them that the war was over. And I realized that technically it's not the Cold War, but a lot of those same folks were involved in that development. There were that we honor today. So I just want to say thank you on a personal note. I've had a very wonderful life because of those folks. My family has too as well. So thank y'all so much for the great sacrifice you made, and for all those folks that have passed that weren't thanked. We thank their families as well. Thank y'all.
Please welcome longtime Y-12 leader, historian, and Cold War era patriot himself, Ray Smith, to share a few special thoughts on the legacy many of you have helped create.
I'm glad to be a participant in this 12th annual Cold War Patriots National Day of Remembrance. I've been able to participate in years past in person, but this year we're doing it a little different. I'm proud to say that I've worked for 47 years at the Y-12 National Security Complex in Oak Ridge. The last 10 years of that career, I served as a historian for Y-12. Prior to that, I was working in maintenance and for several years was the associate director for the Facilities Management Organization. And I enjoyed my career at Y-12 and especially was pleased to be able to create documentary films and to allow people to take tours inside Y-12. For many years it was not available. And one of the tours that I'm most proud of was to take people into the building 9204-3, Beta 3 it's called. It's where the calutrons are that was used in the separation of the uranium for Little Boy. And those calutrons over the years were used to separate stable isotopes that were then sent over to the graphite reactor and made radioactive, and was the origin of nuclear medicine. Dr. Alvin Weinberg, who was the director of the Oak Ridge National Laboratory for many years, was asked what's the most important contribution Oak Ridge has made to the world. Without any hesitation, he said medical isotopes. They help millions of people every year. Now the same equipment, the same science that separated the uranium for Little Boy, the world's first atomic bomb ever used in warfare, also separated those stable isotopes that were used to produce radioisotopes to treat in nuclear medicine, to treat and diagnose disease and to help millions of people every year. So the Cold War Patriots National Day of Remembrance recalls those people who served for years in the nuclear industry. Y-12 made the secondaries for all of the nation's nuclear weapons and helped to win the Cold War. I'm very proud to have been a part of that, and I'm proud of this day of remembrance to help bring attention to those veterans who worked to help win the Cold War.
And now a special message from the professional case management team in Tennessee.
Hi, I am Mary Hatfield, Regional Director of Tennessee and Alabama. Our clinical and outreach team would like to thank you for your service to our country and the sacrifices you made in being part of the nuclear weapons industry. In our time here, we have had the honor of helping many workers receive the benefits they earned and deserve. We are humbled to be a part of the 12th Annual Cold War Patriots National Day of Remembrance. With this event, we honor our living legends and those who are no longer with us.
Thank you.
I'd like to now introduce two everyday patriots representing Tennessee who will be featured in the 2021 Cold War Patriots calendar. Larry, former Oak Ridge National Laboratory worker, union organizer, community volunteer, CWP advocate, and an everyday patriot. Larry worked at both Y-12 and K-25 during his 39 years at Oak Ridge as a machinist. Larry then moved to Washington, D.C. to become the National Director of the International Association of Machinists and Aerospace Union, retiring in 2008. Larry is held in high esteem by his former colleagues and others who worked closely with him in volunteer work. He considers himself to be a people person and says his favorite memory of working at Oak Ridge was forming bonds and working closely with many dedicated and hardworking people through the years. Lloyd, former Oak Ridge National Laboratory worker, collector, community advocate, history buff, and now an everyday patriot. Lloyd spent 40 years working at the DOE facility at K-25, Y-12, and X-10. His favorite part was the wonderful people he had the opportunity to work with. He is a huge history lover and is heavily involved in the Oak Ridge National History Museum. Lloyd has one of the largest collections of memorabilia from the Manhattan Project and is involved in many community organizations, including the Elk Stock Club, the Secret City Festival, and the Boy Scouts of America. Lloyd's advice? Stay active. If you stay active, you never have time to grow old. Thank you, Larry and Lloyd, for representing the hardworking people of Tennessee. The Paducah gaseous diffusion plant was the last of the big three gaseous diffusion plants. You might wonder, how big? Well, just one of the three main process buildings, C333, has 26 acres under a single roof, approximately the same size as the U.S. Pentagon in Washington, D.C. Over its more than 5 decades of operation, it produced thousands of tons of enriched uranium, contributing to our nation's deterrent, powering America's nuclear navy, and providing the fuel for our country's commercial nuclear power plants. Just as some of our country's greatest rivers come together not far from Paducah, Kentucky, the speakers you will now hear from represent and honor some of the extraordinary contributions by the citizens of Kentucky and its neighboring states. Please welcome the Majority Leader of the United States Senate, Senator Mitch McConnell.
Hello, I'm Senator Mitch McConnell. The pages of American history are filled with patriots who fought for our freedom and won. Today, we recognize the more than 1 million Americans who kept our country safe in mines, refineries, and reactors. Thousands of these patriots worked in Paducah, Kentucky, and throughout my Senate career, it's been my privilege to work for them. Our country must fulfill its obligation to these nuclear workers. I take seriously that charge, delivering billions for Paducah workers' compensation and health care benefits, as well as life-saving medical screenings and environmental cleanup. As Senate Majority Leader, I'm proud to put Paducah's nuclear workers and retirees at the center of the national discussion. That includes, as a co-sponsor again of the Senate resolution honoring this National Day of Remembrance. When our national security demanded it, men and women across our country stepped up. I look forward to working with all of you to uphold our country's sacred pledge to them. Thank you for all you do, and God bless you.
Please welcome Congressman James Comer, representing in Congress Western Kentucky, including the men and women of Paducah.
It's my honor to join you in recognizing the National Day of Remembrance for nuclear weapons workers. From the wartime effort to develop the Manhattan Project during World War II to present efforts to add to America's great energy portfolio, nuclear workers are among the unsung heroes of our society. These workers and their families have sacrificed a great deal for their country. This includes the nuclear weapons and uranium workers who have spent years working at the Department of Energy's nuclear facility in Paducah. I'm proud to represent a group of constituents who have played a valuable role in advancing our national security and energy future. To them I say thank you, as well as a big thank you to this organization, which serves as a valuable resource for nuclear weapons workers. I wish you all a great event, and thank you for your contributions to our nation.
Please welcome Jim Key of the United Steelworkers to say a few words.
Good day and welcome to the 12th Annual Official Cold War Patriots National Day of Remembrance. I'm Jim Key, Vice President at Large of United Steelworkers Local 550 in Paducah, Kentucky, and President of the National United Steelworkers Atomic Energy Workers Council in Washington, D.C. I have been employed 46 years at the Paducah Gases Uranium Enrichment Facility, which is now undergoing decontamination and decommissioning. And just a shout out and salute to you, the workers who helped keep America safe during the Cold War and sacrificed their health in doing so.
And now a special message from the professional case management team in Kentucky.
Hi, I'm Nikki Clark, your Regional Home Care Outreach Specialist for Professional Case Management and Cold War Patriots in Western Kentucky. I'd like to introduce our Clinical Regional Director, Judy Terry, and our Community Home Care Outreach Representative, Taylor Moore. We would first like to thank you for all your dedication and service to our country and the sacrifices that you have made in working in the nuclear industry. We've had the privilege of working with many of you, helping you earn your benefits that are well deserved. We are humbled today to be here to celebrate the 12th annual Cold War Patriots National Day of Remembrance, honoring our living legends and our fallen heroes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now I'd like to introduce Billy Bob of the Paducah Gaseous Diffusion Plant, an instructor, community advocate, volunteer, and an everyday patriot featured in the 2021 Cold War Patriots calendar. Billy Bob has worked at the Paducah Gaseous Diffusion Plant since 1979 and currently works as a pipe fitter and is an active member of the Pipe Fitters Union. Many of his family members, including his father, also worked as pipe fitters, and this inspired him to follow this career path. Billy Bob is very active in his community and works as an instructor for the United Steelworkers. He helps set up Union Hall breakfasts and brunches and has spoken several times to share his experience and advice to workers. Thank you, Billy Bob, for all you have done for your community. With its origins from a letter from President Truman and a $1 contract with DuPont, to its vital production of plutonium and tritium that made America's nuclear deterrent possible, the Savannah River site over the decades has since employed thousands of workers and produced many tons of plutonium. It has created a lasting legacy among the South Carolina and Georgia communities next to its 300 square miles, an area nearly 5 times as large as Washington, D.C. We are privileged to hear from some of those leaders and their constituents now. Please welcome Congressman Joe Wilson to say a few words. Joe does not just represent the workers from the Savannah River plant, now SRS, he was once a nuclear complex worker there himself.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Joe Wilson. I'm very grateful to serve in Congress to represent the Savannah River site and the site where we had nuclear weapons workers make such a difference, Cold War patriots. In my service, and I'm also grateful I'm the only member of Congress who's worked at Savannah River site, so I know the dedication of all of what you have done. And I've seen the victory in the Cold War. I've had the opportunity to visit countries throughout Central and Eastern Europe and Central Asia, countries that are now free and liberated, many of them now members of NATO, very valued allies of the United States. None of this would have been possible if we hadn't had peace through strength. So God bless you. Thank you for what you've done for America, but you've done for hundreds of millions of people across the world.
Please welcome special guest Daniel Burrows to say a few words.
As someone who grew up around the Savannah River site, I had the privilege of knowing a number of SRS employees as well as their family members. As claims advocates, our teams assist claimants in filing initial claims that may seem complex or overly burdensome, as well as appealing denied claims where there may be an obstacle, such as proving a link between exposure to a toxic substance and the development of a specific medical condition. I would like to thank Cold War Patriots for the opportunity to participate in its 12th National Day of Remembrance, and personally I would like to extend my gratitude to those energy employees who have worked so hard to keep America safe, often sacrificing their own personal health to do so.
And now, a special message from Professional Case Management's team in South Carolina.
Thank you for attending this year's National Day of Remembrance. I am Brooke McGahee with Professional Case Management. I am the Regional Home Care Specialist for South Carolina and Georgia.
And I'm Cassie Broderick from Professional Case Management in Aiken, South Carolina. I am the Community Home Care Outreach Representative for Georgia and South Carolina.
Thank you for the sacrifices you have made and for those fallen heroes.
We are honored to be a part of the 12th official National Day of Remembrance. Thank you, and God bless.
Hi, we are from Professional Case Management in the South Carolina-Georgia region. I am Donna Berry, the Regional Director. The Savannah River site celebrates their 70th anniversary this year. Thousands of jobs were created November 28, 1950 to create materials used in fabrication of nuclear weapons. We are honored to provide home care for you. Thank you for inviting us into your homes to care for you. The sacrifices you have made are not forgotten. Our heads are bowed as we remember our fallen heroes. Thank you for letting us add our voice of appreciation to this 12th official Cold War Patriots National Day of Remembrance.
And now I'd like to introduce Linda, former Savannah River site worker, community volunteer, advocate, mother, grandmother, and an everyday patriot featured in the 2021 Cold War Patriots calendar. Linda's career at the Savannah River site started in 1999, and in 2000 she became contaminated when ceiling cables were being pulled down at the facility. Due to this accident, Linda was eligible and obtained her U.S. Department of Labor White Medical Benefits card. Staying active and being community-oriented is extremely important to Linda. She is very involved in her church, volunteers for Meals for Vets, and prepares meals for families of burn victims and provides snacks to the homeless each summer with her grandson. Thank you, Linda, for setting an example for your community. The state of Ohio has long earned its place as a center of America's manufacturing, technology, science, and technology innovation. It is the same when it comes to the nation's nuclear complex, be it the enrichment of weapons-grade uranium at the Portsmouth A plant, to cutting-edge science and technology research outside Dayton at the Mound facility, to all manner of uranium processing and fabrication at the Fernald plant northwest of Cincinnati, to beryllium processing on the shores of Lake Erie. We have much to be grateful for to the proud Buckeyes of Ohio, and now welcome speakers representing this very dynamic state. Please welcome the former mayor of Portsmouth, Ohio, an honorary Cold War patriot himself, Franklin Gerlach, to say a few words.
Hi, I'm Frank Gerlach, an authorized representative, and I'm here to honor those who worked in the nuclear industry on their official day. I, as an authorized representative, had a unique opportunity to hear the stories of the work that the men and women did in the nuclear industry. They worked hard. They worked under rules that you only needed to know certain things. They worked under secrecy, and we are very proud of them, and we hope that they will be taken care of. A lot of them have gone on and have lost their lives. We honor those who have died. Please join with me in honoring our nuclear workers.
Please welcome Mooch Calloway, Ray Beatty, and Andrew Breitenbach from the Worker Medical Screening Program to say a few words.
Hello, my name is Mooch Calloway. I worked at the Fernald site for 22 years, starting in the production era and working through closure in 2006. And from there, I've worked with the WHIP program, Worker Health Protection Program, for the last 14 years. I'd like to thank all the Cold War patriots that worked during these production days and cleanup for their sacrifice and for the United States to win the Cold War. I'd also like to thank the Cold War Patriots for establishing the Day of Remembrance for the Cold War Patriots and also their networking program and also setting up the town hall meetings, which is very informational to the workers at the Fernald site. Thank you. And now I'd like to introduce Ray Beatty, also with the Worker Health Protection Program.
Hi, my name is Ray Beatty. As Mooch said, I worked at the Fernald site as well for approximately 14 years as a millwright. Very active in the health and safety arenas at that facility. I'd like to thank the Cold War Patriots organization for the same thing, to reiterate a little bit what Mooch said, the town hall meetings and various things, especially their work with the EEOI-CPA, the Federal Compensation Program that helps people with the claims process. They're very helpful with that, and we really do appreciate their help and understanding on that. And the WIP program has been going on now for like 14 years. That WIP, it's the Worker Health Protection Program, where physicals are afforded to the people that worked at the Fernald site from 1986 through 2006. We thank those participants for engaging in that process. We wish you all the best out there for continued health and success. Thank you very much. And at this time, I'd like to introduce the new WIP program coordinator for the Fernald site, and his name is Andrew Breitenbach.
Hello all, this is Andrew Breitenbach, the new WIP program coordinator for the Fernald site. I'd just like to thank all the Cold War Patriots for everything that you've done, and look forward to working with you.
And now, a special message from the professional case management team in Ohio.
Hi, this is Jessica Haas at our Professional Case Management Office in Portsmouth, Ohio. On this 12th annual National Day of Remembrance, we would like to take the time to truly thank our Cold War Patriots and the sacrifices you have made for our country. We want to honor the men and women who worked in the U.S. nuclear weapon and uranium industries, and want to recognize those who are no longer with us. It is a privilege to now serve you, as you have invited us into your homes and shared your stories with us. This day is in the dedication of you and the instrumental role you played in the protection of our nation. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd now like to introduce two everyday patriots representing Ohio who will be featured in the 2021 Cold War Patriots calendar. Carl, former Portsmouth Gaseous Diffusion Plant worker, community volunteer, fundraiser, veterans advocate, and an everyday patriot. Carl spent over 45 years working at the A plant in several positions, including as a laborer, an accident and incident investigator, and occupational safety and health instructor. Carl enjoyed training other workers, stating, "It was a very satisfying job to be able to assist my colleagues and ensure their safety." Carl served as the president and treasurer of his local Lions Club. He also volunteers by helping former nuclear weapons complex workers through the process of getting their EOICPA benefits. Dana, a former Mound and Fernald worker, community and youth advocate, and an everyday patriot. During his career of over 30 years, Dana worked at 3 different DOE facilities, with the majority of his work being at Mound and the Fernald site in Ohio. Now that Dana has retired, he enjoys working various jobs in his community when he is able, including working as a school bus driver. Dana said, "I try to instill in our young people to be all they can be and to do it well." Thank you, Carl and Dana. Ohio is lucky to have you. Nevada, a strategic part of America's vast nuclear weapons complex during the Cold War, can be experienced at an endpoint just 65 miles north of Las Vegas, the Nevada Test Site, now known as the Nevada National Security Site. Here, more than 1,000 atomic and hydrogen weapons of all kinds were tested and evaluated. Tens of thousands of technicians, laborers, scientists, machinists, miners, and all trades and crafts work together for the security of our nation. We are very fortunate today to have them well represented by our speakers. Please welcome Congressman Dina Titus, who has in person or via video supported every Cold War Patriots National Day of Remembrance, to say a few very special words.
Hello, I'm Dina Titus, your representative from Nevada's 1st District. I wish we could be together in person because I always enjoy attending this event and seeing so many longtime friends like Linda Smith, Chuck Costa, Ernie Williams, and my dear special friend, the ultimate Cold Warrior, Troy Wade. But thank you, Cold War Patriots, for hosting this virtual 12th Annual National Day of Remembrance. I also want to thank Michael Hall and all those associated with the National Atomic Testing Museum for preserving our atomic history and telling the story of the Cold War Patriots. Now in its 12th year, this Day of Remembrance recognizes the contributions and the sacrifices of those heroes whose efforts on the front line of the Cold War changed history. Their service to our nation was instrumental in the efforts to create a nuclear deterrent that helped defeat the forces of communism and win the Cold War. Too often their efforts aren't recognized in the same manner as those of veterans of other wars. Yet just as veterans of other battles served with distinction to protect our nation, so too did the workers at our atomic weapons facilities, research laboratories, and testing sites. Since 1942, more than 500,000 Americans have worked to create, test, and maintain the United States nuclear arsenal. Many of those workers suffered from radiation and toxic exposure in their work on nuclear projects before the full extent of the dangers were known. Nuclear weapons workers from around the country deserve our support and are entitled to the care and benefits they've earned from their service in an era when the threat of nuclear war was ever present. Just as we care for our service members returning home from the battlefield, it's our responsibility to care for the workers from the Nevada test site and all other nuclear workers whose health has been impacted by the mission they supported. Over the years, it's been my pleasure and privilege to work with many of you as a member of the Nevada Test Site Historical Foundation at the National Atomic Testing Museum. I'll never forget how some of you, unbeknownst to your spouses, mortgaged your homes to start this museum, and how we worked together to get the state to create an atomic license plate to help support it. Now, as the chairwoman of the House Public Buildings Subcommittee, my jurisdiction includes overseeing the facilities of the Smithsonian Institution, and I've met with Director Lonnie Bunch, urging him to strengthen the relationship between the Smithsonian and its affiliates, like the National Atomic Testing Museum. With the administration's withdrawal from the INF Treaty and their interest in resuming explosive nuclear tests, the history of the Cold War and the lessons from that era are more important than ever. So I want to thank all of today's organizers and our Cold War veterans and their families for continuing to tell the story of those brave men and women and the sacrifices they made on behalf of our nation. Thank you so much for letting me join you again in this day of remembrance.
And now, a special message from the professional case management team in Nevada.
Hi, my name is Tina Cabernet, Regional Director for the Nevada region.
And my name is Twana Weatherspoon, Regional Home Care Outreach Specialist, servicing the entire state of Nevada. Based out of Las Vegas, on behalf of our entire branch, we'd like to thank you for welcoming us into your home in this 12th Annual National Day of Remembrance celebration.
It's an honor to take care of all Nevada test site workers and all nuclear weapons and uranium workers.
Now I'd like to introduce Gail, a former Nevada test site worker, scholar, national parks advocate, environmentalist, and an everyday patriot, featured in the 2021 Cold War Patriots calendar. Gail used her involvement and observations from her time at the Nevada test site to make convincing arguments before Congress. She successfully advocated for the wilderness protection areas and the designation of the first national park in Nevada, the Great Basin National Park, officially established in 1986. One person, however inconsequential we may feel we are, can in fact make a difference and change the course of history, Gail told us. Thank you, Gail, for your commitment to your peers and Mother Nature. Before we move on to additional Cold War patriots around the country, it is now my honor and distinct pleasure to introduce my co-master of ceremonies, Mr. Kevin Fitzgerald, whose leadership has included leading literally hundreds of Cold War Patriots town hall meetings nationwide for more than the past 10 years, and assisting thousands of uranium and nuclear complex workers in obtaining the benefits they have earned.
Thank you, Tim. I am honored to make the introductions to our next series of honored programs and guest speakers who assist the nuclear weapons and uranium worker community. The Division of Energy Employees Occupational Illness Compensation Resource Centers play an integral part in helping nuclear weapons and uranium workers navigate through the complexities of the program. We acknowledge and thank them for the support they provide to the DOE worker community. To all of the men and women from the Division of Energy Employees Occupational Illness Compensation Resource Centers, thank you. Thank you for helping former workers file compensation and benefit claims and providing assistance in resolving medical benefit billing issues. Your tireless and consistent support is so very much appreciated. The Worker Medical Screening Program provides an invaluable service. The early detection of health-related issues for former U.S. Department of Energy workers. The results from the screening can then assist you in obtaining a U.S. Department of Labor white medical benefits card, which will allow you to receive health benefits for your covered conditions at no cost to you. As of September 2019, the medical screening programs have conducted over 154,000 nuclear weapons and uranium worker screenings. We acknowledge and thank the men and women who provide the medical screenings for their support to the DOE worker community.
It is now my pleasure to introduce you to Greg Austin, the President of Professional Case Management and one of the founding members of Cold War Patriots.
Hello, my name is Greg Austin, and it's been my privilege to lead the team at Professional Case Management, also known as PCM, for the past 15 years. At PCM, we are honored to provide a full spectrum of home health services to those who have sacrificed their health in service to our nation. While we take satisfaction in being America's first and largest provider of these vital services, we also take special pride in our role in the creation and ongoing support of Cold War Patriots, America's largest community resource and advocacy organization for nuclear weapons and uranium industry workers. Each year, we at PCM support the campaign for the U.S. Senate to designate October 30th as a National Day of Remembrance to honor all of the nuclear complex workers and their families, especially those who have sacrificed their health and even their lives to do the vital work that has kept our country safe. This year, October 30th also marks the 20th anniversary of the Energy Employees Occupational Illness Compensation Program Act being signed into law. And we salute those that have fought to have that congressional act passed for the benefit of both former and current nuclear weapons and uranium workers and their families. For as long as you and the ones you love need us, Professional Case Management will be here to make it possible to live with dignity in the comfort of your own home. On behalf of all of our dedicated caregivers, thank you for your service.
Now I'd like to introduce Dr. Donald Lakatosh with PCM Impairments. He's a medical doctor who in his career has assisted literally thousands of sick workers with impairment evaluations offered under Part E of the Energy Employees Occupational Illness Compensation Program Act through his ongoing work with PCM Impairments. Dr. Lakatosh?
Tim, thank you for allowing me to be part of this National Day of Remembrance. As Tim said, I'm Dr. Donald Lakatosh. I'm a rehabilitation doctor, and I've been involved in performing impairment evaluations under this program, EEOICPA, for folks like you since 2005. Being headquartered in Oak Ridge, this is where I got my start. But I've done impairments either in person or over the telephone all over the country. Over that time, I've learned that folks like you that work in these facilities are dedicated, patriotic, and hardworking. Also, what you did was many times done in secret. So secret you may not be able to tell your families. It came back to affect them too, I'm sure. I realize that. I'm the son of 2 military veterans that served in the Cold War period. I saw what they did, and I understand the danger that our country was in at that time. That experience helps me appreciate, I think in some way, what you have done. Thank you again. On behalf of my colleagues, Dr. Suhu and Dr. Walton, thank you. Our work wouldn't be possible if it wasn't for a very dedicated and hard-working support staff. It starts with Kelly, our director, and then our navigators, Ginger, Michelle, and Shelley. And then our clinical staff, Kara, Michelle, Amy, and Melody. Thank you again. I will always remember. God bless.
It is my pleasure to now introduce a number of additional states and their workers that have been critical to our country's victory in the Cold War and still have a mission and legacy of preserving the peace today. After these states and their workers have been recognized, we will be honoring fallen heroes in today's program with the virtual candle lighting. The Iowa Army Ammunition Plant near Burlington, Iowa, started production in 1941 in preparation for World War II. In 1947, the U.S. Atomic Energy Commission assumed responsibility, changed the name of the facility to the Burlington Atomic Energy Commission Plant, or BAECP, and began the assembly of nuclear weapons on Line 1. Assembly of nuclear weapons ended in 1975, at which time the responsibility of the facility went to the U.S. Army. Also located in Iowa is the Ames Laboratory, a U.S. Department of Energy national laboratory located in Ames, Iowa. In 1942, the Ames project was developed to accompany the Manhattan Project's existing physics program to produce high-purity uranium from uranium ores. Today, its mission is new research in various domains concerning national security and resource management. We thank the men and women who worked at BAECP and Ames Lab for their dedication to maintaining the safety and security of our country during the Cold War era. And now please welcome Senator Chuck Grassley, whose support and votes over the years have made EEOI-CPA a reality. Here to say a few words is Senator Grassley.
Wednesday, October 30, is National Cold War Patriots Day of Remembrance. During the Cold War, many Iowans and Americans all across the country worked in support of the atomic weapons program, helping to ensure that our country remains secure against the threat of the old Soviet Union. Unfortunately, this crucial work resulted in exposure to radiation. In 2000, Congress established a program to provide compensation and health care benefits for those who became ill. In the years following, I exercised oversight over the program to ensure that timely and adequate compensation was being provided. I also worked to ensure that former employees of the Iowa Army Ammunition Plant were eligible for the program and, of course, able to get the compensation that they earned. I'd like to thank the former employees of the Army Ammunition Plant, as well as atomic weapons workers across America, for your service to our great country. You're heroes of the Cold War, and the sacrifices that you made will not be forgotten.
Please welcome Louine McCracken to add her voice and personal message to today's ceremony.
My name is Louine McCracken. I am honored to have the opportunity to share with you on this 12th official Cold War Patriots National Day of Remembrance, wherein we celebrate the former Cold War Patriots and honor them for their sacrifices in keeping America safe. The Iowa Ordnance Plant was created in 1940 in Middletown, Iowa, and began production of nuclear weapons in 1949. Like many of you, I have had various family members employed at the Iowa Ordnance Plant. As an advocate assisting former workers with their claims, I have come to love and know many of the former workers. They are the most wonderful, caring, honest, and patriotic people I have ever been privileged to know. It is my honor to have met them. I am humbled to remember, honor, and thank the Cold War Patriots on this 12th day of remembrance for the sacrifices they and their families have made in keeping America safe. May God bless all of you, and may God bless America.
And now a very special message from the professional case management team in Iowa.
My name is Juanita Gerst. I work for Professional Case Management, and I take care of the folks in the Iowa, Illinois, Missouri area. We take care of the folks that worked at the Iowa Army Ammunition Plant and the Ames Laboratory. It is an honor to be part of the 12th official Cold War Patriots National Day of Remembrance. Thank you so much for allowing us into your home to take care of your loved ones.
Now I'd like to introduce Daniel, former Iowa plant worker, Army veteran, husband, owner of Community Landmark, and an everyday patriot featured in the 2021 Cold War Patriots calendar. After returning from Korea, Daniel soon began his career at the Iowa Army Ammunition Plant, where he worked as a draftsman, a mechanical engineer, and was even part of the rapid response team at the plant. Daniel and his wife Joyce, who have been married for over 66 years, both volunteer at their local nursing home. They feel it is very important to give back and plan to volunteer for as long as they can. Thank you, Daniel, for your service to our country. With 17 Department of Energy sites in New Mexico, including the Los Alamos National Laboratory, Sandia National Laboratory, the Trinity site, and numerous uranium mines, New Mexico could be considered ground zero for the start of our nation's nuclear weapons defense efforts during World War II and into the Cold War. The Navajo Nation was instrumental in mining the uranium that was so vital in the construction of our nuclear weapons arsenal. We thank you for the efforts and the hard work you did to keep our country safe during the Cold War. Many New Mexicans sacrificed their health and even their lives. May we never forget their sacrifices. Please welcome Senator Tom Udall, retiring from the U.S. Senate this year, and co-sponsor of all National Day of Remembrance resolutions, here to say a few words to us.
Hello, Senator Tom Udall here. Thank you for coming together to honor this important day of remembrance. And thank you for including me in this event. The brave New Mexicans who worked on our nation's nuclear program made lasting contributions to our national defense. But it came at a price. During the Cold War and in the years since, thousands of New Mexicans sacrificed their health and in many cases their lives to power the nation's nuclear weapons effort. Every year I'm proud to work with my colleague Lamar Alexander to introduce a bipartisan Senate resolution to pay tribute to these heroes, to the miners, millers, maintenance workers, scientists, and support staff whose sacrifice has often gone unrecognized. I worked hard to pass EOIPA in 2000 and have advocated for claimants in my home state of New Mexico and nationwide. Nuclear workers shouldn't have to battle both their illness and their government to receive compensation. This work will carry on, it will not end, and that's why we have this National Day of Remembrance, because we can't give up the fight, and we won't.
Senator Martin Heinrich of New Mexico sent a letter on observation of National Day of Remembrance, which I will now share with you. Dear Cold War Patriots, thank you for your message about a National Day of Remembrance for nuclear and uranium workers in the United States. I appreciate your thoughts on this topic. For the past 12 years, the United States Senate has passed a resolution to declare October 30th as a National Day of Remembrance for nuclear and uranium workers. Since I joined the U.S. State Senate, I have been proud to support this Day of Remembrance. New Mexico has a long and storied history of contributing to our national security and energy needs, including communities that were essential to the mining and processing of uranium during the Cold War. I am proud we have been able to pass this resolution annually because it honors the incredible contributions of workers in New Mexico and across the country who quietly sacrificed to keep us safe. When the United States Senate considers the resolution to make October 30th the National Day of Remembrance for nuclear and uranium workers in 2020, you can count on my support. I will also continue to fight to make good on our responsibility to compensate these workers so that they can receive the care, medical assistance, and justice they deserve. Thank you for contacting me. I hope you will keep me informed about the issues that are important to you. Sincerely, Martin Heinrich, United States Senate. Please welcome Congressman Ben Ray Lujan to say a few words.
Hello, I'm Congressman Ben Ray Lujan, and I'm honored to represent New Mexico's 3rd Congressional District in the House of Representatives. While we can't be together in person, I'm grateful for the opportunity to recognize the contributions that our Cold War patriots made to protect our national security. On this 12th official National Day of Remembrance, I'm grateful to honor nuclear weapon workers and uranium workers and their families, including those in my home state of New Mexico. They sacrifice so much to keep us safe. In the House, I introduced the Radiation Exposure Compensation Act amendments to expand compensation for individuals impacted by radiation exposure during the Cold War era, and I'm continuing to fight for its passage. In service to our nation, thousands of individuals were exposed to dangerous radiation through their jobs in our mines and nuclear facilities and in the surrounding communities. And these patriots have been living with life-altering consequences. It's crucial that the federal government does right by these families. This legislation is about ensuring long overdue justice. I want to personally thank you for your service to our nation and for allowing me to share a few words with you today. This National Day of Remembrance will help ensure that your contributions are not forgotten and that your sacrifices are recognized. Thank you.
And now please welcome guest Larry Martinez to say a few words.
My name is Larry Martinez, and I'm from the Four Corners area, Shiprock, and I've worked in the on uranium issues for roughly 20 years. I did work for the Navajo Nation in the Office of Navajo Uranium Workers, assisting clients and getting their compensation through RECA. This year is our 12th year as far as National Day of Remembrance is concerned, and we want to thank all the miners, millers, transporters that work in the industry and risk their health, their lives, and hopefully we'll get the majority of them compensated and survivors compensated through RECA and Department of Labor as far as home health care. We do have free service for applications to be submitted to RECA, Department of Justice, and home health care through the Department of Labor, through the Uranium Office, and also Cold War Patriots and Professional Case Management does assist in pointing people in the right direction and getting help that they direly need. These folks do deserve everything they can get for what they've done for the safety of our country. Thank you for doing what you did as far as keeping our country safe. All the folks that work in the uranium industry. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
And now we have a very special message from the Professional Case Management team in New Mexico.
Hi, I'm Anna King Sutton at our Professional Case Management Office in Santa Fe, New Mexico. It is our honor to care for and serve the Los Alamos National Labs, Sandia National Labs, and all of the nuclear weapons and uranium workers throughout New Mexico. Tommy, Hedda, Peter, and myself, and all of our New Mexico PCM staff would like to say thank you for welcoming us into your homes and sharing your stories with us. Your sacrifice and the sacrifice of our fallen heroes has not been forgotten. Thank you for allowing us the opportunity to show our appreciation on this 12th annual Cold War Patriots National Day of Remembrance.
I'd like to now introduce two everyday patriots representing New Mexico who will be featured in the 2021 Cold War Patriots calendar. Bobby, a former uranium miner, teacher, lobbyist, and an everyday patriot. Bobby started his career as a uranium miner straight out of high school in the 1960s, where he worked in labor and drilling assistance. His father and uncle also worked with him as uranium miners. Bobby went on to teach elementary school students for almost 50 years, where he incorporated Cold War history into his teachings. Bobby traveled to Washington, D.C. and lobbied in the 1970s for the Radiation Exposure Compensation Act, RECA. He now enjoys his days farming, ranching, and spending time with his family. Johnny, former Los Alamos National Laboratory worker, painter, construction expert, community volunteer, and an everyday patriot. Johnny spent 10 years working at the Los Alamos National Laboratory as a painter and a drywall installer. Johnny now volunteers at a variety of local organizations, including the Roadrunner Food Bank of New Mexico, and provides rides to community members who do not have access to transportation. When asked what advice he would give to former workers, Johnny said that he would recommend for them to remain active. He says to exercise daily, stay occupied, and don't just sit around. Thank you, Bobby and Johnny. New Mexico and your communities are lucky to have such dedicated citizens. The 70-mile-long Uravan mineral belt of uranium deposits in San Miguel, Montrose, and Mesa counties in Colorado was the area that produced the most uranium in the United States. After World War II, the U.S. government stockpiled the uranium from the Uravan belt for the nuclear weapons program. Many men on Colorado's western slope worked tireless hours mining the uranium, and we owe them our gratitude and thanks for their very hard work. The Rocky Flats plant near Denver, Colorado, was a major manufacturing complex that produced nuclear weapons components from 1952 to 1992. Rocky Flats' primary mission was the manufacture of plutonium detonators, or triggers, which were then shipped to other facilities to be assembled into nuclear weapons. During the years of operation, over 70,000 nuclear triggers were produced. Thank you to the men and women who manufactured these components for the majority of the nuclear weapons in the United States arsenal. And now please welcome Congressman Ed Perlmutter to say a few words.
Ed Perlmutter, I'm the Congressman for the 7th Congressional District. And today is the 12th annual Day of Remembrance. It's a day when we take stock of the service that so many of you provided in developing our nuclear weapons program. And in so doing, you suffered and sacrificed for our nation. A lot of ailments and illnesses came as a result of the development of the program. And today I rededicate myself, as so many others rededicate themselves, to making sure that all of you get the health benefits and services that you need and that you've earned in protecting America. Thank you very much for your service to our country, and I wish you all the best on this 12th annual Day of Remembrance. Thanks a lot.
Please welcome Congressman Scott Tipton to say a few words.
Hi, I'm Scott Tipton, and I'm proud to represent the 3rd Congressional District of Colorado. While the COVID-19 pandemic has altered our traditional means of celebration for the National Day of Remembrance, I wanted to take this opportunity to recognize the hundreds of thousands of men and women who've served our nation's defense with their work in the nuclear weapons industry. For nearly 70 years, Colorado's 3rd District has played a pivotal role in providing the raw materials and manpower to generate the nuclear armament that has deterred other nations from ever striking against our nation. The future of the nuclear will continue to depend on the men and women who continue to serve in this important industry, and today is a special day to reflect on those sacrifices. Your service as a Department of Energy worker helped provide many of the freedoms that our country enjoys still today. Many of you made sacrifices, often in the way of your health, to help protect our nation during a very critical time in our history. I truly could not express my gratitude for your service and sacrifice to this nation. While we cannot gather in person this year to celebrate, I'm thankful for the technology making it possible to ensure that we can virtually honor the memory, legacy, and contribution of all former Department of Energy workers, our nation's atomic heroes. Thank you for joining me in celebrating this honorary holiday, and may you and your loved ones continue to stay safe during this time.
Please welcome Murph Widowfield to say a few words.
I am Murph Widowfield, and I'm currently the president of the Rocky Flats Cold War Museum. I worked at Rocky Flats as a contractor and never as an employee. My first project was in 1957 when we repaired the boilers in Building 43. I served in the United States Army from 1959 to 1962, always in Germany, and even though I'm about 3 months into the Vietnam War, I never saw Vietnam. On this day of remembrance, I would like to thank all of the nuclear workers for your service and the safety and protection of this country. You kept the safety and advancements #1 in your minds while you were at Rocky Flats, and the record is excellent. It's a great feeling to know a lot of you and to know what you tried to do for this country. And I want to thank you for your service. You are good people.
And now we have a very special message from the Professional Case Management team in Colorado.
Hello, I'm Yana from Professional Case Management and the Cold War Patriots. I'm located in the western United States in the Four Corners area. I've had the pleasure of helping many uranium miners under the RECA Act on the Navajo Indian Reservation and in the Four Corners area. It is my honor today to be here for the 12th annual National Day of Remembrance and to remember our fallen heroes. Thank you for your service.
Hi, my name is Audrey Wiederholt, and I am the Colorado and Utah Regional Director of Clinical Operations for Professional Case Management. Our team strives to provide the highest level of care to former Rocky Flats and nuclear and uranium miners within my territory. We thank you for the stories shared and for allowing us to provide care in your homes. Your sacrifices to fortify our nation's nuclear defense will never be forgotten. On this 12th official Cold War Patriots National Day of Remembrance, I honor those who are no longer with us. We thank you for your service.
I'm Cynthia Winslow from Professional Case Management and the Cold War Patriots Colorado Front Range. In my 6 years of work here along the Front Range, I have met so many wonderful nuclear weapons workers that worked at the nuclear weapons plant Rocky Flats, and some from Coors Porcelain, and you have allowed me great pleasure to help you through the struggles of a federal government program that we work under for your benefits, and have taught me and helped me grow and understand what it really meant when you took the job at the plant and stayed there and served our country. I'm honored, honestly honored to know you.
I'd like to now introduce two everyday patriots representing Colorado who will be featured in the 2021 Cold War Patriots calendar. Bob, former Rocky Flats worker, youth advocate, community award winner, and an everyday patriot. While working at Rocky Flats for 30 years, Bob received prestigious honors and awards, including Engineer of the World and a Good Citizenship Award presented to him by the Mayor of Denver, Colorado. Bob and his wife Judy have been foster parents to 75 children, led a youth organization for foreign exchange students called Youth for Understanding, and developed a nature expedition group for youth from all over the world called Colorado Experience. Bob shares, "Do not let your mind sag and stay mentally alert." Don, former Rocky Flats worker, wood carver, volunteer, family man, and an everyday patriot. Don spent 30 years at Rocky Flats, working as a laborer, chemical operator, material analyst, pipe fitter, and a multi-craft foreman. Following retirement, Don organizes a variety of retiree breakfasts for fellow nuclear weapons workers. Don also specializes in carving old world Santas and does special custom requests. He sells his art at 2 local craft fairs annually. He loves helping others and continuing to stay as active as possible. Thank you, Bob and Don, for your years of service and your community work. The Pantex plant in Amarillo, Texas, was a primary nuclear weapons assembly and disassembly facility in the United States, and to this day continues to maintain the safety, security, and reliability of our nuclear weapons stockpile. At the height of the operations, Pantex employed over 3,600 men and women, and we thank all of them for their past and future service to our country. Senator Ted Cruz sent a letter recognizing this important day. I would like to read that now. Dear friends, today we honor the extraordinary men and women that have worked as members of the nuclear weapons and uranium community in service to our nation and its security. These Cold War patriots have enhanced and helped to maintain America's national security by putting America first in their work every day. We thank them for their commitment and gather today to ensure they remain close to our hearts. Prepared to serve on the front lines of America's nuclear capabilities, their steadfast spirit has been critical to the safety of our communities. As we reflect on their incredible commitment and sacrifices, we are thankful for those who make it their life's work to give their best to preserve the American way of life and future. They are some of the finest men and women our communities have to offer. We thank them and their families for being a trusted network of security and safety here at home. For their faithfulness, we are eternally grateful. In honoring those who are no longer with us, we pray for the comfort of their families who grieve their loss. May our nation always honor their service and keep our promise to the fallen to serve and protect their loved ones. May God bless America's Cold War patriots, and may God continue to bless America. Sincerely, Ted Cruz, United States Senator. Please welcome Sarah Ray to say a few words.
This is Sarah Dvorak Ray, and I am a former worker at the Pantex plant in Amarillo, Texas. I was there about 12 years working in manufacturing and also in training. And I just wanted to let everyone know that we're very happy to be celebrating the 12th year of the National Day of Remembrance. We're remembering those we've lost, but we're also honoring all the people who worked in the complex. I hope that next year we'll all be able to get together. Stay safe, stay well.
And now a very special message from the professional case management team in Texas.
I'm Chip Chapman.
And I'm Kimberly Munger. And on behalf of the entire Texas PCM team, we want to say thank you for the honor of allowing us to care for you in your home.
And as part of this, the 12th official Cold War Patriots National Day of Remembrance, we would like to say thank you to both the living legends and those that are no longer with us. So on behalf of Professional Case Management, we say thank you for your sacrifice and for your service to your country in securing our nation's defense.
Now I'd like to introduce Carolyn, former Pantex worker, volunteer, and community advocate, and an everyday patriot, featured in the 2021 Cold War Patriots calendar. Carolyn began working at Pantex in 1982 and continued to work at the facility in various secretarial positions until her retirement in 2007. Today, Carolyn lives in Amarillo and has 2 daughters, 6 grandchildren, and 2 great-grandchildren. Carolyn truly believes it is important to pay it forward and feels a true sense of joy when she is giving and helping others, whether it's through her volunteer work or helping out at her local church. Established in 1943 as part of the Manhattan Project, the Hanford site was home to the B reactor, the first full-scale plutonium production reactor in the world. Plutonium manufactured at the site was used in the first nuclear bomb tested at the Trinity site and was also used in Fat Man, the 3rd bomb that was detonated over Nagasaki, Japan. Without the hard work and dedication of the men and women of the Hanford Nuclear Reservation, the more than 60,000 weapons built for the U.S. nuclear arsenal would not have been possible. Please welcome Senator Patty Murray to say a few words.
I would like to extend my profound thank you to our nation's nuclear weapons program workers in Washington State and across the country as we commemorate the 12th Annual National Day of Remembrance. Thank you also to Cold War Patriots for all of your critical work over the years to ensure our nation's nuclear weapons program workers are getting the resources and benefits you deserve. I'm so proud of the workers at Hanford, your families, and the entire Tri-Cities community who have sacrificed and continue to sacrifice for our country. The federal government has a long-standing moral and legal obligation to the Hanford mission and the workers who are making it happen, which is why I fought and will continue fighting to guarantee Hanford workers who couldn't telework during the pandemic can still get paid, and why I introduced legislation this summer to expand federal workers' compensation for toxic exposure at the Hanford site and other sites across the country. And as a voice for the workers at Hanford in the Senate, I'm going to continue working to make sure they get the support and compensation and recognition you've earned in your service to our country, from World War II to the present day. On behalf of a grateful nation, thank you for all your work and all you do.
Please welcome Senator Maria Cantwell to say a few words.
I am honored to join you all to commemorate the 12th official National Day of Remembrance for nuclear weapons program workers. From World War II through the Cold War and into the 21st century, nuclear workers across the United States have provided the knowledge, expertise, and commitment necessary to help secure our country. The Hanford site in Washington has played an enormous role in producing plutonium for our country's nuclear arsenal, and nuclear workers went to work every day knowing that they were working on some of the most important and dangerous challenges that we have faced in science. By the end of the Cold War, Hanford had produced most of the plutonium in the nation's nuclear weapons arsenal. This work came with a price. Repeated exposures made challenges and certainly impacted workers who became sick and lost their lives. Today, Hanford is a site of one of the most contaminated sites in the entire world, and so we need to continue to do our part. More than 11,000 workers continue to work on this critical cleanup mission. We owe an enormous debt to all of those workers, and that is why it is so important we continue to be vigilant about protecting the benefits that they have earned. We must meet our cleanup obligations and ensure that our nuclear sites have the highest standards for worker protection and worker safety. I was proud to help create the Hanford Worker Engagement Center. That is at Hanford to help workers get assistance on their health-related claims, almost a one-stop shop. I will continue to fight to make sure that all of these workers in the nuclear field can access high-quality health care. And thank you to the Cold War Patriots for hosting this Day of Remembrance, for advocating for the nuclear weapons workers and for their families. And most importantly, thank you to all of the workers who've made sacrifices to our country. Our nation owes you a great debt of gratitude. Thank you.
Please welcome Congressman Dan Newhouse to say a few words.
Hello, Cold War Patriots. Congressman Dan Newhouse here. I wish we could all be together in person, but nevertheless, I want to thank you for this opportunity to speak with you and be a part of this virtual 12th official National Day of Remembrance. I'm so pleased to take a few moments to honor the exceptional Americans who have been the backbone of our world-class nuclear capabilities and national security infrastructure for decades. Since the days of President Franklin Roosevelt, workers in America's nuclear development facilities have, through their diligence, care, and ingenuity, enhanced our defensive position in the world and helped keep the American people safe from the battery of threats that have faced us over the years. Here in our home of Central Washington, we're proud of our native sons and daughters at the Hanford site, which, as you know, played a crucial role in the race to secure America's defensive advantage during World War II and the Cold War. The important work that you all do has yielded great rewards for our nation, but has also often meant great personal risk and sacrifice. I continue to be committed to the ongoing cleanup efforts at the nuclear site at Hanford and to supporting past, present, and future workers at nuclear facilities around the country. These facilities and the workers that power them not only deserve a place of honor in our national history, but also play a vitally important role in our future. You all helped ensure national security in the modern age and made invaluable contributions to the development of a clean energy source that promises to revolutionize the American power grid in the coming years. Because of you, our nation is stronger, safer, and we continue to lead the world down a path toward lasting peace and global stability through American strength. On behalf of the people of Central Washington and of the 4th Congressional District, I want to say thank you for your hard work and service to our nation. God bless you all, and be well.
Please welcome guest Donna Whiteside to say a few words.
Welcome to the 12th National Day of Remembrance. I'm Donna Whiteside. I grew up and live in Richland, Washington. I was a patrolman at the Hanford Nuclear Reservation, and then I went into security. No doubt most of you worked longer than I did. I got the opportunity to retire at a very young age. Today is my day. Today is your day. Today is our day to be honored and remembered for what we did to keep America safe during World War II and the Cold War. Sadly, some of you are now dealing with health issues due to the job that you did. Thank you for doing your part, for the sacrifices you made to keep America great and strong. God bless each and every one of you. God bless the USA.
And now a very special message from the Professional Case Management Team in Washington.
Hello, this is Brenda Kazmarek with Professional Case Management at our Richland, Washington office. It is our privilege to help so many Hanford site workers as you have allowed us to provide care for you in your homes. Thank you for sharing your personal experiences with us. We recognize the contributions you have made and the sacrifices of the fallen heroes that will not be forgotten. I am honored to be part of this 12th official Cold War Patriots National Day of Remembrance.
Now I'd like to introduce John, a former Hanford worker, podcast host, blogger, historian, and an everyday patriot that will be featured in the 2021 Cold War Patriots calendar. John worked at the Hanford site in Washington as a chemist, supervisor, and analytical lab manager. Between his time at Hanford and volunteering for Benton County, John told us he feels like he gets far more out of his giving than what he can give back. Continuing to stay involved is very important to John. He writes a blog called Amazing Black History that focuses on telling unresearched and unpublished stories about Black history. John's words of advice to fellow nuclear weapons workers: get up in the morning with a plan.
This year's virtual event makes it possible to acknowledge and remember all nuclear weapons and uranium workers, regardless of where they worked then or live now. Today's special messages, all the way from California, New York, Missouri, and Arizona, are a very welcome part of today's ceremony. From those who participated in the early tests in the Pacific, to special test tunnels in Alaska, to the heartland in Missouri and Kansas, to labs and reactors from New York to Florida, and all points in between. I still recall, with a special sense of wonder, the vast scientific possibilities I felt 20 years ago as I stood at what would become the test chamber of the NIF, the National Ignition Facility, the world's largest and most powerful laser array at Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory in California. This impressive facility is in dramatic contrast to the rather humble offices of Lawrence Livermore Lab's longtime director, Edward Teller, one of the 7 brilliant Hungarian immigrant physicists who contributed to the Manhattan Project and America's ongoing development of nuclear weapons and energy science. Now, we will have the opportunity to hear from additional voices from across our country and remember the contributions and sacrifices of those they represent. Please join me in welcoming Delaney Blaze from California.
Hi, I'm Delaney Blaze. I'm an advocate and a special exposure cohort petitioner for workers of Santa Susana Field Laboratory, which is located in Los Angeles, California. My dad was among the countless men and women who dedicated their lives to defending our nation's security and to advancing science and technology during the Cold War and the race to space. Today is the 12th National Day of Remembrance and the 20th anniversary of the Energy Employee Occupational Illness Compensation Program. I'd like to extend gratitude to all of the workers across the complex for their dedication to defending our nation's security and advancing science and technology. Thank you to Cold War Patriots for reaching out to Congress and making sure that the National Day of Remembrance became a reality.
Please join me in welcoming Hugh Stevens from New York.
Hello, my name is Hugh Stevens. I'm an attorney. I come to you from Buffalo, New York on this day of remembrance for Cold War Patriots. There are many Cold War Patriots right here in Western New York. Some rolled uranium at Bethlehem Steel. Some cast it into ingots at Electrometallurgical, and some reclaimed it at Hooker Electrochemical. It's an honor to help these workers as they apply for benefits under the Energy Employees Occupational Illness Compensation Program Act and the Radiation Exposure Compensation Act. With all their faults, and we try to address those faults, both before the Department of Labor and in federal court when necessary, we believe these programs represent the will of a great nation to make up for prior wrongs and to provide health care to those who helped protect its citizens. We want to thank all those who made this day of remembrance possible and say a special thank you to those Cold War patriots living and deceased around the country.
Please welcome Maurice Copeland from the Kansas City plant in Missouri.
Maurice Copeland, the advocate for the workers at the Bannister Federal Complex in Kansas City, Missouri, the nuclear weapons plant, non-nuclear plant as they love to say. I am here to thank you for this commemoration service, for recognizing the work we did during the Cold War. We're the number one parts component plant in the industry. And in Kansas City, we're very proud of the work we did. We're so proud that we're the only plant in the complex in the nuclear weapons complexes that owns the plant. The plant in Kansas City is owned by the city of Kansas City, Missouri. I want to say to you today, thank you for recognizing the work of the workers at the Bannister Complex.
Please welcome George Durrani from Arizona.
Hello and good day, everyone. My name is George Durrani. I'm an attorney and an advocate. I've had the distinct pleasure and honor and challenge of representing hundreds of energy workers all over this country since 2000. But one of the things I always remember is that inside of every claim, every illness, every challenge, every struggle is the life of a human being, a man or a woman like you, or a member of your family. And I also remember that each of you or them have committed significant parts of your lives, your skills, your passion, and your love of this country in order to do the work that had to be done to keep America safe. And so today I join with others on this very important day to honor you, the Cold War Patriots. I thank you, and I'm honored to be in your service.
For nearly every Cold War Patriots National Day of Remembrance, we have been honored to create a unique commemorative item for this special day. This year, we have created a stainless steel bookmark as a special means of recognition to the living legends and fallen heroes who protected our nation. For those who registered for today's virtual NDR ceremony and have requested a bookmark, you may already have received your bookmark in the mail. But if not, don't worry, it's on its way to you. We hope you enjoy this small token of our appreciation. We now would like to remember the very special men and women who worked in the nuclear weapons and uranium industries and helped to keep America safe and free. Many of these workers lost their lives due to illnesses caused by their work. As we begin the sharing of the names of those we honor here today, many of whom passed in the last year, we also want to acknowledge that many of you have your own fallen heroes that you will recall. Along with those names, we will now share on your screen during our remembrance ceremony. Today, as we light a virtual candle, we will be sharing on your screen the names of those who have recently passed. Please join us at this time by lighting your own candle wherever you may be to honor a friend, a coworker, a relative, or other special life of a service that has been part of America's nuclear legacy. May their light, love, and memory forever burn bright. Today marking the 20th anniversary of the EEO-ICPA, I would like to add our special thanks to the contributions made to today's events by all the elected representatives, government leaders, current and former workers, and private citizens who have come together to honor not only you, but the service and sacrifices of so many others. It was a very moving and indeed humbling experience to participate in today's ceremony, particularly the sharing of the names of those we honored today. Our thoughts, our prayers, and our memories have been shared in a very expressive way for this, the 12th official Cold War Patriots National Day of Remembrance. Being able to reach more of you online than we normally can with the in-person events has also let us share the contributions and memories of our patriots in a very compelling way. May we remember that each person's name is a light that illuminated not only their lives of their families, friends, and co-workers, but their work and light has also lit our nation and those our nation protects with the precious flame of freedom and liberty. May we all meet again next year for the 2021 National Day of Remembrance. I also want to take this opportunity to thank you, the living legends among us right now. Your stories, as well as those of your friends and co-workers, are well represented in the year ahead. Today we heard from many living legends among us, those who have actively taken part in today's ceremony. Yet for each living legend who could join us here today, there are indeed many thousands of everyday patriots who did all aspects of the important work that kept our country free. Just a few of these everyday patriots, representing not only themselves, but so many of you and their stories, are featured in our Cold War Patriots 2021 calendar, which includes very special stories and profiles that showcase how America's nuclear defense was fundamentally a story not just of incredible technology, engineering, and manufacturing. Now they continue to serve their local communities in a wide variety of ways and have been nominated for their contributions to be featured as an everyday patriot in our upcoming CWP calendar. Their ongoing stories are fundamentally a story about people, just as so many of your stories are. Watch your mailbox or visit the Cold War Patriots website to register for your Cold War Patriots 2021 calendar. Cold War Patriots would also like to extend a special thank you to the professional men and women at the United States Department of Energy and Department of Labor, NIOSH, the many members of Congress and other leaders, the dedicated staff at the Energy Resource Centers and the worker medical screening programs, who have made it their work to serve those who have so patriotically served all of us. Thank you to those who lent your voice to today's events to honor this country's living legends and fallen heroes. We invite you to share this special National Day of Remembrance program with other nuclear complex and uranium workers and their families, to also honor them for their work and sacrifice to our country. That concludes our presentation. Thank you all so very much for joining us here today, and we invite you to visit us at coldwarpatriots.org, our Facebook page, and continue to check your emails for very important updates from Cold War Patriots.